Okay, on our injection pump drive here, on the front, if it's a deluxe tractor, it'll have a tacho drive. And this one must have been a deluxe, it has the tacho drive. If not, they don't have it. Often the standard tractor had a single stage clutch and no tacho and a pan seat like on a TE20, where the deluxe tractor often had the tacho, the dual stage clutch and the bucket type seat like on the 135 and 65 and the later 35s and things like that. So we had, in Australia here, we had quite a few. Well, my gold tractor's a standard tractor, no tacho, the petrol. But on the diesel here, there's just a little drive. These are readily available. The point of interest with tachos, they're only 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 drive, usually 2-to-1. So there we go. And that has a couple of splines, and that goes into the drive gear. And that spline there is the same spline as on that pump drive we showed you before, that little shaft. So this turns okay, but you can't see anything inside here. I have no idea if it works or not. We might have a look at that a bit later on. Okay, now this housing here, you can't get a socket into these fellas, so using my spanner backwards, but that's all right. Oh yeah, we might be able to get a nut gun into there, and there, and there. I'll come around and we'll undo the ones that we can't get our little rattle gun into. This whole housing comes off, and it has a gear up in here and an idler gear that takes the drive from the cam through. Just get this off here. Oh, it seems about 3 miles long. And we'll need a little ringy for there. Oh, that's tight. And that top bolt there, I'll just show you when I get it out. It has a support for the #1 injection pipe by the look of it. We're in a new bay here, we've got a lot of light, but it does throw shadows a little bit. They're not dark shadows, they're just, you can still see them if I get my ugly dial in there. So that's the bracket for the injector pipe support. Okay, I'll see if I can get my little nut gun going in here. Now down the bottom. And last one. Then that should be enough. This should have a dowel. Actually, it's just in there, the dowel. There you go. So that's our cam shaft in here. That's our cam followers. So this gear here runs on the cam. Then there's another little gear way up inside there, and that's your injection pump drive. So we'll pull this apart. Sometimes there's a bit of slop there, but this is what has to be set up to check your backlash between these gears. If you have that gear too tight and no backlash there, it will wear. But I'm just trying to check. We have one paper gasket here. No, that's the tin one. This is the latest serial number. It has a tin one, but it should still have sealing each side of that. Anyway, good thing. We'll get that up on the bench later and we'll pop that apart and we'll go through it and have a little chat about it. Okay, we're at the front of the engine. This is your cam gear. This is your oil pump drive gear. That's the oil pump there. And this is our tensioner. So part of what we're doing here is on this oil pump, you can buy the rotor assembly for the oil pump, but you can't buy the support bush in the housing. And I can just see that gear's rocking around a little bit on that shaft there. And there's a pin goes through here, but we'll get that on the bench later. But this gear here, that is just your oil pump drive. Now to get that off, we have to get the key out, the key from the front pulley. There's a key in it itself, but often they don't sort of, one gets a little burr or something and it's just easier without. So we've started it off with a, my punch has got a little bend in it here. We started it off with a tapered punch, and now we're just going to knock him around with a pin punch. Boy, that's a tight little key, that one. There we go. So now in theory, there's no burrs there at all. This gear should come off. Now, you'll notice it's flat on the back and there's a hump on the front. So the flat on the back goes to this timing gear here, and if I can get it there so you can just see it. You can see the back splat and the top, just a little bit of a bell. Oh, look, it's only about a 1.5mm flange, but that comes to the front. That can go in the pot. Now this here is our oil pump, and like I said before, there's a little bit of movement there, but there's movement on that pin. Now that'll be a tapered pin, so I'm not sure. It looks like it's had the head bashed around here. And that's a tapered pin. I'll sit him on my engine stand here. Will that come off? It's not real keen on coming off by the feel of it. There we go. but that gear was sloppy on this shaft. And that's our oil pump shaft there. I'm hoping you can see all that. A little bit hard to see where it is down there, but anyway. I'll go and grab my little nut gun to speed things up. When I remember where I put it, stop looking, I found it. There's just 4 bolts here. Okay, 4 bolts there, 3 long, actually they're all different lengths. There's 2 long ones and 2 different shorter ones. Let's just work out where they all go. Okay, that's got to be a short one. So the short one's on the top here. The next shortest is the other side, and the 2 long ones are at the bottom. Put them in the gear. Now there's your housing. Now an interesting thing with these, I don't know whether you know or not, and I'll flap my gums and tell you, you'll see on the rotor assembly here, you'll see you have a sharp edge at the back here and a chamfered edge at the front there. The chamfered edge always goes into the housing, so it doesn't bite into the housing there, and the flat edge always goes against a flat surface. So there's our pump. Now I'll just give that a bit of a wipe. What we look for here, that's quite sloppy on that pin, look at that. But you look for scoring down here. And you can feel scoring there. But on an old tractor you would expect that. You have scoring there. You will have scoring inside the G rotor assembly here. So that just pumps oil by squeezing it out. This housing here, where this rotor goes into the housing, we'll go through all this. There's a measurement between the rotor and the housing to see if it's worn out or not. Actually this housing does look good. You look for wear in there where this rotor, this bloke, where he rubs on the housing there. And you can just see a slight shine there, yet I can't actually feel it. And the reason we're in here playing with this, part of the reason, is you can buy a new rotor assembly, an aftermarket one, but where it fits in the housing here, you can't buy that bush. So I think we're going to make one of them. And this bush here, there's a bush in the housing, and this is your front rear main housing, this fella here. And there's a bush in there, and we can't buy that either that I'm aware of. So as this sits in there, you have a bit of movement there. And I don't know, look, a lot of people just bang stuff in and don't look, and a lot of times this would be okay. We'll just have to see. But this old pump, there's also, you look for wear down here. I can actually feel just a tiny little lip down there. But yeah, that's a bit of a concern, this pump being loose on the rotor there. I can't say I recall seeing that before, but perhaps I did, who knows. Okay, that's the oil pump out. That's going to the bench to have a little bit of work done, or have a bit of a measure and a fiddle and see if we can make new bushes and anything we make like these bushes, we'll try and do a little map of them, like a little drawing. So if you'd like to get some made in your local area, you can. Okay, this little timing fella here, I always replace these. Sparrex have a good one. I've had a really good run with it. I'll just nip those off. Now, what I should do while I've still got the timing chain nice and tight there, is lock these tabs down. I'll go and get something to hop in under the tabs. My favourite bloody screwdriver that I bash shit out of all the time. It may just be easy to loosen this nut while we have everything hooked up. Right. What size is that? Looks like about 1 1/8. Okay, it looks like 1 5/16. There we go. So we've got that loose. Actually, while we're here, this is a lock tab. My friend cut some of these too. So they have to have a little tab locked over. He's just had these laser cut and sent me some for evaluation. And that fits perfectly. So the TEF20 and the 23C share the same lock tabs. So we may, if you're in England, I'll try and put in the description where to get them. We'll be getting them made in Australia. Yeah, just to help our customers out over here. Something you can't buy. All right, we'll just bloody gin around here for a bit. Now this will probably fall apart when I get it out. They do. Oh, come on, Gertie. I actually use a bit of oil pressure in behind here to give them a push. There we go. So we have a little plate that helps line, gives it a flat surface to rub against. And in here, I'll go in there. You can see it has a little lug there. There. You can see it has a little lug there, and as the chain gets loose, it goes out to the next notch and locks, then the next one and locks. And you can pop the screw out at the back here if you have the timing cover off. Pop that screw out, you turn this so it holds on to there, and that's your adjustment to get going. We'll go through that when we rebuild an engine. They're just an interesting little thing. This is getting quite a few marks there. It's a duplex chain here. So yeah, just another little item. We'll pop it in the tin. And the cam and cam gear, we won't pull that out yet. We've got all the cam followers to lift off. We've got the fuel lift pump to take away yet. So we might pop back around the other side and have a look at that.